Well, hello, it's Mike Jack with Manria and Real Estate Promo, another Flip It Friday video. And today I want to talk about why the MAO formula, maximum allowable offer, or cash offer, that it's the formula that all rehabbers use to come up with their cash offer, and why you should never violate that number. Even if you plan on holding onto a property as a rental property and your game plan is the BRRRR, buy, renovate, refinance, and then repeat. So even if that's your game plan, you should still stick to the MAO formula for some very simple principles. And one of them is, I'm starting to see it happen right now, and why we keep telling you stick to the MAO formula and don't violate it. Now I'm just out here looking at another property this afternoon here, and actually we're going to be doing a property tour on this one for Manria members, and it got me thinking about a conversation I've been having with another member the last couple of days. Let's step inside here real quick. And that has to do with violating the MAO formula. So last fall, I was working with another member, and they had looked at a property, ran the numbers, and I don't remember the exact MAO number that they came in, but I think it was around 115, 125, somewhere around there. And we ran the numbers. Like, yeah, that looks good. If you can get it at that price, then go ahead and buy the property. Well, the member went and bought the property, but they never told me the rest of the story. So I just assumed that they were buying it at the MAO formula because that's the number we were talking about. That's the number that they originally submitted, and everything moved forward. Well, I was just talking to them like this last about 3 days ago, and they're like, well, I'm in a situation right now. I don't know what to do. What would be your advice? And I'm like, well, what's your situation? Like, well, I bought the property, and what I wanted to do was renovate it. They wanted to do the BRRRR. They wanted to buy it, renovate it, and then refinance it to pull out the cash. So what they did is they bought the property with private money. They use a private lender, but the private lender didn't have enough capital to cover the acquisition and the rehab. So this investor, they had a HELOC, and they had enough on their HELOC on their property to cover the renovation, so they went ahead and did that. And what always happens is they lowered their rehab budget. Now, they didn't stick with their original rehab budget. What happened was they went and submitted the offer. The sellers countered at basically maybe a little bit lower than what they were asking. And so if I remember the numbers correct, I think they bought it. The MAO came in at like 115. And the sellers were asking like 160 or 170. And I think they ended up settling for like around 150 or something like that, 140, when the MAO was at 115. And they reran the numbers like, well, I can cut down on the renovation costs. I can skimp some money there. And I'm going to hold on to those rental properties so I don't have to buy it that low. And then I'll just refinance it, pay off my hard money lender or my private lender, and then pay off my HELOC, get that back down to a balance, or lower balance, and then I'll be able to cash flow the property. Well, they spent what they should have done, what they originally came up with on their renovation budget, which was $65,000, and they thought they'd get by with 40. Well, when they did all those numbers, 65 is about 60 or 65, I think is what they said they're finally coming in at, and they're just finishing up on the property. And the problem now is because of this COVID-19, and the debt-to-income ratios and all that stuff have changed, and the credit requirements have changed. The debt-to-income ratio no longer qualifies for a refinance from a traditional lender. So now they're looking for alternative sources. I gave them a couple of resources to try, but I don't think they're going to pan out for them. And they're like, well, I can keep the property right now. It will not cash flow, but it'll be break even. So long as I get a tenant in there right now. But now they're paying that hard money lender or the private lender who has agreed to extend it for another 12 months. Right, so they're okay there, but then their HELOC, they're going to be making that interest payment on their HELOC and paying that down, so they won't be paying much on that. The property will not be cash flowing. It'll break even, but it's not going to cash flow. And so what they wanted me to do was help them figure out how they can, get the property sold. And well, why don't you just sell it? And like, here's the property, the value of the property. You've done a great rehab on it, and they showed me pictures. I haven't seen the property, but like, well, if I sell it at that price, I'm not going to make any money. And I'm like, how is that even possible? How are you not going to make money? If you got it at 115, you're like, no, I paid like 150 or 140, 145. Something. Like, really? Why? And like, well, because they countered me, and then they told me a whole story about how they went up because they're like, I don't care about the MAO formula. It doesn't matter because I'm going to hold on to the property and I'm going to follow what all these other gurus are telling me to do rather than listening to me. and the people who teach the exact same thing as I teach. The MAO formula would have saved that person's butt. They would have been able to resell the property right now because that's a hot market. I mean, I'm looking at this property right now. I guarantee you this one I'm looking at is going to sell for way more than I'm going to be asking for it. It's going to sell real quick. I mean, and I'll give you guys a quick tour. It's older. It's outdated. It needs a ton of work. It's livable, but somebody's going to come in here and buy this property as is. You know, and they're going to probably pay what the listing agent is asking for the property. I'm doing my best to give you guys a background view of this stuff. I'm not going to go down the basement. I'll probably end up falling down, tripping down the stairs on you guys. But this is an example right now. It's a really hot market. But this because this investor violated the MAO formula because they wanted to follow the other program, which works when everything is going up. But as soon as there's a blip in the economy, which there is right now they can't sell the property and they can't hold on to it. Or they can hold on to it, but they're not going to make any money. So it's a tricky situation. That's why if you stick to the MAO formula, it's a hedge against these problems. And then if you did buy it at the MAO formula and stick to your guns, or at least really driven the price down and stuck to your numbers, then even if it got to the point where you couldn't do the refinance and you had to turn around sell, at least you would break even and maybe not make as much money, but you would at least break even. They can't even do that because they're going to lose money. They would have to write a check in order to sell the property. That's the situation they got in because they violated the MAO formula. But they're asking, well, what can I do? And I'm like, I don't know. I told you how to buy the property right in the first place. If you would have listened to that, you wouldn't even be asking me how to get out of it right now because you'd have all these different options available to you. But right now, you've eliminated all the options because you stuck to one game plan because you didn't care about following the MAO formula. So follow the MAO formula, keep to that number. It's going to help protect you in the long run. And with that, we'll see you guys back here with another Flip It Friday video.